Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Spotlight series. My name is Claudia Thompson, and today I'm here with Paul Wookey, who used his experience and his passion to start the company Headworks Media. And I'm really happy to have you here. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here. Really nice to meet you.
And why don't you give us a bit of background about what it is that you do?
So, Headworks Media is basically the brainchild of an idea I've been working on for several years. So, I've been in television production and development for probably about 5, 6 years. I have my own television channel back in the early 2000s. And I saw a value in just kind of coming up with creative ideas all the time, new content, because content is power at the end of the day. And it's coming up with new and original content and new ideas for television programs and TV shows. And over my 20 years of experience being behind the camera, in front of the camera, I have always been inspired to look at taking an idea, making it innovative, making it original, making it different than everything else. Unfortunately, in the world of television, there's no such thing as an original idea. Hence why shows keep coming back, why they keep bringing back Big Brother, why they keep bringing back, Deal or No Deal. They're shows that are tried and tested, and even though people let them go, they always bring them back. So it's always trying to come up with something fresh, new, and innovative. So my company is all about not about producing the content itself, but coming up and finding those little niche markets, those little ideas, those things that you see every day in life that might inspire something that the viewers might find interesting. And it can be anything from a game show to a reality-based show. Sometimes it's character-based. So you might meet somebody, you think, wow, you're really interesting what you do for a living. I'd love to be able to document that. It could be a documentary series. It could be anything that we think is going to create interest, might create media interest, might open up doors to other things. So that was my passion. I just love the creative idea of sitting down in a room with some of my colleagues and going, okay, this is what Channel 4 are looking for. Can we come up with something that fits their brief? And so we go on all of the major networks, the streaming services. We look at their commissions brief, and then we try and come up with special, innovative, different ideas that we think might suit them. Now, 9 times out of 10 is maybe a no, but it just takes that one. And so we work hard to package it up. So the idea basically is we take an idea, we flush it out, and then we put together a pitch deck, which essentially would be like maybe a 10-slide document, PDF document, along with a sizzle. And we then pitch that to the networks and hopefully get a deal.
Cool. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of insight. And your story is probably the story of a lot of business owners out there of this, like, you know what, I'm really good at this and I love doing this, so I'm going to start my own business. What do you think are like crucial first steps when setting up on your own?
I think for me, it's about committing to the bit. It's kind of like believing that you've got something. It is a big draw, a big chance you're taking on the idea that you have. But I think it comes down to passion. I think passion is the foremost thing you need to show, because if you're excited by something, if you're showing positivity, if you're showing a real feel for what you're trying to achieve, then it comes through when you are talking to potential clients, when you're talking to people, that how excited, how passionate you are about what you believe in. So I think it all comes down to belief and passion about what you do. And it may take you 6 months, it may take you 6 years. There's no time frame on anything. But, if you do something that you love, then you never have to work again. And, that's a cliche quote, but I believe that. I believe if you do something that you purely love and that you would, you eat, breathe, sleep it, then the universe is going to somehow reward you someday, whether it's not now or maybe down the road. But that's what I truly believe.
Yeah, and on there, as you touched on there, as a business owner, it's really hard to draw that hard line between this is my business, this is my business life, and this is my personal life. But how do you personally balance the two?
Well, I'm lucky enough that my partner, she's in the industry as well. She created a business actually about 6 months ago, and she does pop-up theatre. So they travel around the care homes and they deliver plays, short form, 45-minute, 1 hour plays. So she understands the world that I'm in, and she comes from that background of acting and performance. So our lives are very much parallel, so that there's none of this kind of competing for each other's attention. I have a daughter who's very much she loves singing and performing. She's at Leaf Academy. She's a singer. She's a mini rock star. So we have very much an entertainment based family. So when it comes to balancing, it seems to cross over all the time. We're very, very lucky that we all love the same thing and we all share the same passion. So there's a real understanding of what we're trying to. There's no kind of like, you don't spend enough time with me, because I will spend time with my daughter because she's a singer and I want to help her get her career off the ground. So, you know, with my connections, we get that real kind of time together to talk about those things. And same with my partner, I'm always sharing ideas with her. Well, you could do this with your play, or you could do that, or you could branch out and do this. So the balancing of life and work, we're very, very lucky to have it. Almost, it's all inclusive in the whole thing.
Well, that does sound like a very special situation, and it's a
Very
really,
lucky.
really good plus.
Yeah.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, and what would be your advice to business owners that are looking to grow their business?
So 5 years, again, the entertainment television industry, it is a long game. It is a marathon game. I'd like to think within 5 years, we at least have one or two formats that have been greenlit and are out for production, whether they're in this country or somewhere abroad. So yeah, that's where I'd like to think that in 5 years we have something, and that we've grown to a point where our company has maybe hit other elements of the world. You know, we do have I do have a business partner in New York, so essentially having an office over there. So yeah, that's the dream, to at least within 5 years be in that position of having recognition and having an opportunity to be taken seriously. Because when you're a new guy coming into this industry, like we spoke earlier before the podcast, is that it's a very, very close knit thing. Everybody knows everybody. It could be quite brutal out there. You know, people steal ideas all the time, so you've got to have your wits about you. But essentially, you know, I'd like to think within 5 years that we would be in a position of recognition and taken seriously as an entity that has very, very creative and innovative ideas. And for people starting a new business, I think it comes down to conviction again. Like I said, you know, it's truly believing in what you do, believing in your skills, and knowing why your strengths and weaknesses are. You know, I'm not a money guy. I'm not a financial guy. You know, when it comes to when we're talking numbers and we're saying, look, you know, we're doing a 20% executive deal with a production company, I will have somebody who will take care of that for me. You know, as long as it's advantageous for us financially, great. But from from a sort of business perspective, someone starting from scratch or developing the business, I think it's just sticking to your guns and not taking no for an answer. You know, in the entertainment industry, you get a hell of a lot of no's, more no's than yeses, and the no's turn into more no's, and it is very, very defeatist. You know, it's very difficult. I'm under no illusions that this is going to be a successful business. I've had a lot of businesses that have failed in the world of production. We had a production company that you know, unfortunately fell at the first hurdle when COVID hit. I had I had my television business that we got bought out by, you know, ITV and BBC. And great, that was a great thing, but it was a coexistence agreement. We couldn't exist in the same space as them, so I had to walk away. So I've had plenty of knockbacks, and that's the thing in business, is having a negative shell, is to be able to, it's not personal, it's just business. Sometimes it's you, but you've got to put up a shop front and present yourself in such a way that people like you, that you're doing something special, that you're doing something that they want. But I think it's all coming down to not spreading yourself thin. Stick to that one thing, work on it, tweak it, develop it. If they say no, go back to it. Look at it again. What do we need to tweak? What do we need to make better? What do we need to take away? How do we make this stronger? And just keep pushing the boundaries, keep finding new ways to get yourself out there and make it a success.
So don't get hit, or don't get personally hit by the nose, and just get back in the saddle and off you go again.
Yeah, because it's, you know, we had one yesterday. We had a TV show that went to My Entertainment, which is based out of Los Angeles. We'd been pitching with them for 2 weeks. They loved the idea. We were running with it. They said, yes, we're going to take it to Discovery Channel. It was all green. It was all a go, green lit. We were so excited. I mean, our first commission, this could be it. This could be the one. And then it was a pass. And that was a real kick in the nether regions. It was, I was driving back from a meeting in London, and I thought, I'm going to cry. But I thought, no, it's not personal. It's just, it wasn't for them. So we literally, as soon as I got home, I brushed it off, went back to the drawing board, and said, right, let's look at something else. Let's work on something else, you know. So it's having the gumption to take all of those no's, because those no's make you who you are. You know, there's very, very rare that you can start a business and get success in day one. It doesn't happen unless, of course, you are a multi-millionaire and you're doing it as a hobby. But if you're somebody that's passionate about something, and you get hit with a no, that no is something that you can add to your positive belt, because the more notches on your belt, the more no's make you stronger, make you somebody that can look at, okay, it's another no, it's all right. I'm going to get there. And it makes you who you might. It makes you stronger as an individual. It makes you stronger as a business person. And you just have to not take it personally. It's not you. It's just not right for them. And it's not right for the people that you're associated with. But it doesn't mean that they don't like you. And as long as you keep your head up and don't take it personal, and send back an email that says, you know, F you, and you know nothing, you know, because people do. People take it personally. They think, well, you know nothing. I believe in myself. You just have to go, okay, that's fine. Just move on and just come up with something better. Because sooner or later, that one thing is going to hit, and that's all it takes.
Yeah. That was a really, I love what you said, those no's make you who you are. And I think that's a really, really powerful reminder that it is part of business, and it is just business and not personally. And you mentioned a business partner, and you also have a team around you. What have been your biggest learnings in terms of how you choose the people that you work with?
Well, these are people that I trust, that I've been connected with over the years. I make sure that, you know, whoever I associate myself with brings skills to the table, brings something that I don't have. So, for example, Mark Andrews, who's an absolute mentor and legend in the world of television and media, has worked with Ridley Scott, has worked with Tony Scott, has worked with some of the biggest names in film and television, produced a lot of music videos during the 80s and 90s for some of the major stars, did a lot of commercials. You know, he's somebody that I look up to. So I made sure that I brought him on board as a consultant and partner on this. So, you know, sometimes in business, surround yourself with the people that you trust, and surround with the people that make you better, because they may be more successful than you as a mentor, as somebody that has an insight into different things. Don't believe that, you know, I always think that sometimes you've got to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. Give the strengths to the people that are good at what they do. Try not to do everything. It's so easy to be a business owner and go, okay, I'm going to do the website, I'm going to do the marketing, I'm going to do the promoting, I'm going to build the product, I'm going to do all the meetings, I'm going to do the financials, I'm going to be the CFO, the CEO. No, you can't do all of those things, because people don't take you seriously as an individual. And then when you fail, it's all on you. But if you compartmentalize yourself and go, okay, my strengths are creativity, producing content, writing the pitch decks, those are my strengths. Mark is great in a meeting room. Put him in a meeting room with the commissioning editors. He can sell, you know, sheep to the shepherds. You know, he's that good. You know, Chris Loudon, who's my partner in New York, he was a casting director for Hollywood, and did that for 20 years. He got sick and tired of that side of the business, so he started doing what I was doing. And when we both realized that we were both in the same place, we thought, it doesn't make sense for us to compete in the same market. Let's join forces and do the same thing together. Okay, we're splitting the commission, but it's best to have something than nothing. Because if we're both fighting in the same space, it doesn't make sense to fight. We might as well work together. So we both decided to develop ideas. And how that's developed is that his strengths are his connections. He has got some of the biggest names in the industry. I have a few, but he has the best. So I said, look, let me take all the kind of pitch decks that you've done, and let me put my magic on it. Let me put my graphic and my design work on that, and you pitch these. Because his pitch decks were okay, but they were very, very minimalistic, and they were very much wordy. My creativity and my expertise is in visuals. So I'm really good at creating pitch decks and doing all the design work and the logo designs and all that kind of stuff. So I said to him, look, you got the connections, you've got the ideas. Let me take your ideas, let me repackage them, and then you pitch them. So I made sure that, that the people around me are all people that make me stronger as an individual rather than me trying to do it myself.
Yeah, that's really useful to know, because yeah, absolutely. Sometimes business owners just feel they have to do absolutely everything themselves, and it sounds like you've got that figured out. But on
Yeah,
the flip side of that coin, is there anything that you would maybe do differently if you had to start again?
I wish I started this years ago. Again, this has been something I've been sat on for a very, very long time, and it's sometimes you say to yourself, this isn't the right time. When is there ever a good time? You keep procrastinating. I'll put it off next year. I'll do it next year when the time is right. There is no right time. You either do it now or you never do it, because that's the risk you're taking, and that's the fear kicking in. And sometimes you've just got to laugh in the face of fear and tweak the nose of terror and just do it. Because if you don't, you'll kick yourself 5 years down the road and you go, oh my God, I saw an opportunity and I didn't take it. Do it now, because everything's a learning curve. You're not going to know everything about everything in business. That's not the point. When you're starting out as a new business owner, you learn a lot of things. You learn about tax and HMRC and about business and about marketing. And these are things you can go on YouTube and read and watch all of these videos. You become a sponge, learn all these things, but just kind of surround yourself with the right people to do that. And I suppose in a way, going back to your question, is that I wish that I had started this 5-10 years ago, because maybe I would have been in a better position, because I had so many ideas back then that are out now that I had 5-10 years ago before they'd even been created. And I think, God, if only I pitched that 5 years ago, it would be a success. And that's just what it's about, is just, taking that leap of faith.
And in your experience, what do you think are some common misconceptions that people have about running a business, and how would you address them?
Well, I suppose it comes down to family and friends. I'm lucky that my mum's a big fan of mine. She believes in what I'm trying to do. My father, being a military guy, being in the Royal Navy for many years, is very much about, what you do is not a real job. What it is, but just, but he supports me. There's always that misconception, I think, that people believe that you're going to fail. There's that subconsciousness that I think people want you to fail because you're doing something that makes them, as a part of them that has a bit of green envy. They're doing a 9 to 5 job, doing a job that they don't want to do. They want to see you fail because it makes them feel better about themselves. And when your success becomes a success, there is a little bit of maybe the green eye monster, a bit of jealousy that you're doing so well. And so, there's always that sense that when you're starting out a new business, that they say they support you and they want to believe that what you're doing is great, but there's that little devil on the shoulder that says fail, you're not going to do very well, you're going to your business won't last 6 months. But that's just part and parcel of any kind of business, I suppose, is that if they see that you're taking a risk and you have those people that see what you're doing is great, then you'll get your advocates that support you and your ambassadors, and then you've got the people that are against you. I think you're never going to have your cheerleaders from day one. Your cheerleaders tend to come along when they see you on social media doing very well. They go, well, we knew you could do it. So that's not what you said at the beginning. You told me I was going to fail. Well, I didn't know what you were doing, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it is a scary world. And especially in this day and age now, when we live in a world where, the cost of living is very high and businesses are struggling to get whatever it is they need to make something, whether it's supplies from another country or the cost of living of owning working out of an office space or a property. You've got to pay all these taxes and everything goes up. It is scary. And I'm lucky enough to do this from home, so everything is covered. I don't need an office space. We're very much a remote business, so we do everything just by meeting up in places and stuff. I think sometimes when somebody starts a business, keeping their feet on the ground and understanding that you've got to start small is the most important thing. Too many people, I think, go into business saying, we need a shop front, we need a shop, we need supplies, we need a warehouse. We need this and this. Is a work from home. Start small and build it from there. The misconception is, I think some people think that you're about to open up a shop and you're going to open up an office space and you're going to have 500 people working for you and there's going to be rows of desks and all this lavish stuff, and you want an investor to come in and invest in your idea. And some people run before they walk because not understanding what business is about. Maybe they didn't go to business school and maybe they don't understand business. Too many people just believe that you need to have all these things because it's about aesthetics. It's about, look at me, I have an office. So, well, you can meet in a hotel lobby. You can meet somewhere nice. You don't always have to have an office just to show that you have a business. At the end of the day, your business is your website. That's where 99% of your traffic comes from because people go there. The misconception of having an office space is too important for too many people because it's about how it looks. And sometimes how it looks is going to break the bank because you're paying for an office space that you hardly use because you're going out to meetings all the time and you're having lunches and you're doing all these things. And you think having an office space kind of, what's the word? It almost confirms who you are as a business, that you need something. I don't think you do. I think that you start small and you work within your constraints of what you can afford rather than trying to show off and say, look at me, I have a car, I have a company car, and I have an office space, and I have people, and I have things and stuff. And no, that's not always the way. That's I believe that the misconception of business can be.
So have the big vision. To summarize, have the big vision, believe in yourself, but make sure you keep your expenses low, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, I believe so. And sometimes you can do things for free. There are so many free opportunities out there for things where you can just kind of, and also stay humble and just network like crazy. Just literally out of every 100 emails that you send, you may only get 10, and out of those 10 you may only get one. But it only takes that one little thing that goes from a little tiny little seed to a little plant growing out the ground.
Yeah, fantastic. That gave me goosebumps, actually. So thank you so much for your time today and for telling us more about you. Why don't you let the people that watch or listen to this know how they can find out more about you or how they can get in touch?
So you can go to www.headworksmedia.com. Our website's there, tells you all about what we do. You can find me on LinkedIn as Paul Wookey, and you'll find all of my connections and things on there as well.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Claudia. It's nice meeting you too.